Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our webinar for today, Mastering Petty Cash Workflows in Odoo, from Manual Mess to Digital Success in the Philippines. Ako nga pala si Pauline Cortez, isang business advisor dito sa Odoo APAC. If you have any further questions after this webinar, you can go ahead and email me directly dito sa email that we see on the screen. But before we start, pwede ba tayo mag-chat ng maybe thumbs up or yes if meron ditong mga Odoo users na? So mga existing customers natin. Alright, I see some chats coming in. Okay, so sino naman dito yung mga gumagamit ng petty cash sa mga kumpanya nila? Okay. So, here is our agenda for today or yung i-cover natin dito sa session natin today. So, yung unang-una, i-introduce natin si Odoo or introduction kay Odoo, what is Odoo ba? Second one is, ano ba yung petty cash? Tapos, paano ba usually ginagawa yung accounting sa petty cash, specifically sa Pilipinas? Third one is yung mga common issues sa accounting with our petty cash. Fourth one is yung magiging demo natin or yung live simulation kung paano ba nire-record yung petty cash expenses dito sa Odoo. And of course, last one, we'll be hearing from you or the audience. Meron tayong question and answer at the end of this video. So, unang-una, ano ba si Odoo? Perhaps nakikita natin siya sa mga billboard around Metro Manila or even nationwide now. Or baka nakikita natin siya sa social media ads natin. Or maybe may mga nag-join dito na nag-sign up na curious lang as to what petty cash can do with Odoo. So, Odoo is an all-in-one business management platform. It is beautiful and it is easy to use. So, what sets Odoo apart naman talaga kasi is yung friendliness ng interface niya, tsaka yung user friendliness niya na even yung least tech-savvy na empleyado nyo, kaya gamitan si Odoo. So, what does it mean ba to have an all-in-one business management platform? This means na lahat ng operations nyo, so let's say here, nakikita natin, meron tayong CRM, meron tayong sales, accounting, purchasing, manufacturing, etc. So all of the operations na related dyan sa business nyo, they all talk to one another. So for example, pagkat nag-purchase kayo, automatic na siya mag-a-add dun sa inventory nyo. And at the same time, for example, nagkaroon kayo ng sale, automatic na rin siya mawawala doon sa inventory nyo. So marami tayong mga flows sa Odoo, and for today, again, we're going to be focusing doon sa petty cash natin. So a lot of companies actually really liked Odoo, from MSMEs to mga bigger conglomerates natin, na ito na siya today. So ito yung global presence natin. Again, we have 19 offices worldwide. You see the different locations of Odoo here. We have our Dubai office, we have our Berlin office, Gold Coast, etc. And dito naman kami based sa Hong Kong, handling all of our Philippine client. And globally, meron ding tayong 8,000 plus official partners and just recently 15 million happy users. So what does it mean to have this big of a community? It means that you have over 15 million users to ask questions and learn from one another on how to use the platform. And of course, along with yung global presence natin, nag-grow na rin yung business scopes natin. So, before kasi, nag-start lang si Odoo sa mga mas simple na applications natin. So, let's say CRM or sales lang. And now, as you can see, we have 70 plus applications here with Odoo. For today, we'll be focusing on yung accounting at saka expenses applications natin. A lot of companies actually benefited from moving sa mga single platforms natin to yung Odoo natin na isahan na lang siya. So nakikita natin dito, meron tayong food industry or F&B, meron tayong mga schools dito, merong mga retail stores or retail industry natin, meron din tayong consultancy, and of course yung manufacturing natin. And one thing that I want to emphasize here is Odoo is not industry specific. So makikita natin, as I mentioned a while ago, marami tayong industries because Odoo is able to cover the business scopes that your company has. And with those companies, before they started Odoo kasi, may nakikita tayo na pattern kung paano nila ginagawa usually sa business nila. So usually, yung ginagawa nila is meron silang standalone software. So let's say, for example, yung marketing team nila, may ginagamit sila na spreadsheet for yung campaigns nila, and then may ginagamit silang separate spreadsheet naman for mass mailing, and another application for using yung different data nila for their campaigns. Another example naman for our accountants here, yung accounting team is using a spreadsheet and then separate pa yung accounts payables natin and separate pa yung accounts receivables natin. And then, meron pa tayong different information just to generate yung reports natin either monthly or quarterly or even yearly. So, ano naman yung problema when we do these types of things? Yung goal naman talaga ni Odoo is to have an all-in-one solution. Para again, yung na-mention natin, lahat ng mga modules natin and applications, like let's say inventory, accounting, yung CRM natin, sales, purchasing, etc., will all be speaking to one another and they're all connected. And this really eradicates yung need for yung manual natin na intervention and data errors in our systems. So now naman na we're a bit more acquainted with Odoo, let's start our topic today and discuss ano nga ba yung petty cash. So, petty cash is a small fixed amount of cash na binibigay ng isang business para sa mga smaller na expenses natin. So, sa mga ibang companies, meron silang budget per department. So, let's say si accounting department, meron silang 5,000 na replenishable. And then, iba naman yung budget nila for petty cash for yung business development team. Yung iba namang companies, let's say for the smaller companies, meron silang overall petty cash budget across all of the departments na. So, of course, it depends dun sa workflow at saka processes ng company nyo. Pero here naman with Odoo, because it's very flexible, we're able to cater most of your workflows no matter how you do it in your company. Pero either way, ginagamit siya again sa mga smaller or impractical na purchases natin, impractical na gamitin yung company credit card or even checks for this one. So, ano naman yung mga example of usual uses for our petty cash? Again, it's to cover yung mga small expenses natin like yung mga office supplies, yung mga delivery fees natin, let's say Lala Move or Grab, may papadala tayo na document. Third one, of course, yung transportation for employees when they're on business errand. So let's say again, Grab, taxi, etc. And last one, overall and generally yung mga emergency and incidental expenses natin. So kanina, meron tayong show of hands ng mga gumagamit na ng Odoo dito, pati yung mga accountants natin here. So paano ba natin usually ginagawa yung petty cash accounting? Again, you might be more familiar dun sa process ng own company nyo. Pero for today's walkthrough, we will be focusing on kung paano namin usually ginagawa with our existing clients already. So usually, number one, nagpo-provide sila ng petty cash voucher. So if you see here sa left side of your screen, ito naman yung tinatawag natin mostly sa Philippines. Ito yung mga Philippine businesses who use yung petty cash voucher. So it's a physical copy of paper. And then yung mga information usually na makikita natin dyan is number one, yung date. Two, or sino yung empleyado na nag-request for yung petty cash natin. Yung mga particulars or ano yung items na bibilhin natin with that petty cash. Fourth one, of course, yung amount or magkano yung nire-request natin na petty cash for this. And yung total. And doon naman sa baba, may nakikita tayo na approved by. So usually, si head of accounting to or even yung manager ng requesting employee. And lastly, yung receive payment. So, yung signature ng employee who's requesting for it and magkano yung na-receive niya from that petty cash voucher. Second one naman sa mga accountants dito, on their side, yung second step nila is to debit or maminusan nila yung petty cash journal and then kikredit nila sa cash journal natin. So, debit and credit cash and petty cash. Third one, pagkat nagamit na ni employee yung cash for that specific purpose of the petty cash, i-reconcile na nila yung approved expense and then lalagay nila dun sa appropriate expense journal. So, sabihin na lang natin na, for example, si admin, bumili siya ng mga office supplies using the petty cash and gumawa siya ng petty cash voucher. From yung cash na na-receive niya, si accounting, lalagay niya sa office supplies journal naman. So, tama-tama lahat ng journals at saka lahat ng journal items na marireconcile natin. Similarly, meron din kaming nakikita na common pain points with our existing clients na or even yung mga clients na nagsasabi kung paano nila ginagawa yung petty cash journaling nila. So, yung usual pain points dyan ay yung missing receipts. Number one, kasi usually wala naman tayong e-copy ng mga resibo na ginamitan natin ng petty cash. Second one is yung slow reimbursement of yung petty cash or minsan nag-aabono si employee tapos doon niya gagawin yung petty cash voucher. So, nababaliktad yung ating process. Usually, yung mga narinig natin, this leads to unhappy employees tapos high turnover rates na din. So, this is one of the causes of yung high turnover rates natin in a company. Third one is time-consuming siya, both for the departments na nagre-request for petty cash, pati na rin dun sa mga accountant natin. Manual yung encoding niya, especially with our pen and paper. And of course, dun sa mga accountant natin na gumagamit ng mga spreadsheet for their petty cash expenses. And lastly, manual din yung reconciliation nila. Of course, meron din tayong difficulty in tracking yung real-time balance. So, may mga times na hindi natin natatrack yung petty cash, tapos isahan na lang yung lahat ng expense or yung total expenses nila. Now, let's say an employee asks for petty cash, yun pala hindi pa nare-replenish. So, this is one of the biggest pain points that we have with some of the accountants who are using Odoo now. Okay, so now let's see how Odoo can actually alleviate yung mga problema na na-mention natin dito sa pain points. So let's go through our demo. Alright. So for today, magkakaroon kasi tayo ng dalawang personas. So ito yung persona ng accounting natin. Pag nakita natin yung background ay purple or very light purple, ito yung accounting natin. And then pag gray, ito naman yung requesting department or employee natin. So let's start here. Sa mga Odoo users dito, you know how this looks. This is usually what we see when we open the Odoo application. Meron tayong mga apps that look like our iPhone apps. And then, ito naman yung mga certain operations that we have. Like, let's say, meron tayong mga documents dito. Meron tayong accounting application, expenses, employees, etc. Alright, so let's go through our situation first. So, yung workflow natin, gagawin natin example na si employee. Nag-request siya for petty cash para sa isang lunch with customer niya. So, ito siguro si sales employee and then makikipag-meeting sila with one of their clients. Now, before we go through that, ito muna, let's go through yung accounting module natin. So, pag nakita natin yung accounting module natin, of course, we have our different journals here. We have yung sales, purchases, yung bank natin, which yung starting balance niya would be 5 million. And yung petty cash natin, which yung starting balance niya is 5,260 and meron pa tayong pending payment na negative 200. So when I go ahead and click yung petty cash natin dito sa transactions, makikita natin lahat ng transactions and expenses within that journal or within yung petty cash natin. So makikita natin yung mga pangalan dito ng expenses like coffee with a customer, if meron tayong replenishment, so ito ibig sabihin nga nag-replenish tayo, pag red naman, nagbawas tayo doon sa journal na yon. Now, let's go here naman sa configuration ni Petty Cash. Makikita natin na yung incoming payments niya, gumawa ko ng 2 of the same account. So, outstanding receipt accounts niya will be yung outstanding account. And then, yung outgoing payments naman, same thing, outstanding account siya. Alright? Now na we went through yung accounting, let's go back to yung situation natin na yung sales department natin or one of our employees would like to request for petty cash for lunch out with customer. So pupunta tayo dito sa gray persona natin or si requesting employee and I will use yung expenses application. So, when I click yung expenses application, makikita ko actually lahat ng expenses ko within the company, whether it's paid by myself as an employee or paid by the company in terms of maybe check or even petty cash. So, for today, I'll go ahead and create a new expense and it's very easy to do that by pressing yung new button natin dito. So, sa new expense, nakikita naman natin lahat ng detalye dito. So, yung description of that particular expense, yung category ng expense na yon, total, paid by, etc. And we're going to fill it out here. So, for today, I'll put yung sales meeting with customer. And then, pag ganito, lalagay ko na lang yung category niya will be food. So, actually, if you saw that, nag-auto-populate yung category ni Odoo dito under food and meals siya. So, meron na din tayong description dito na restaurants, business lunches, etc. Para very particular tayo dun sa certain category natin. So, yung total, let's say we're asking for 1,000 pesos. And then, including tax, I'll just leave this as blank. And then yung employee who is requesting. So for today, the employee's name is Catriona Cruz. It will be paid by the company because petty cash yung gagamitan natin for this sales meeting with our customer. And then makikita natin yung other side here which also has additional details. Yung details naman dito yung accurate expense date. So I'll leave it as today. Yung manager ko, kasi for this one, for this demo today, meron tayong again level of approval. Same as yung petty cash voucher natin na kailangan may approver or signature dun sa accounting head or manager na lang. So for today, yung lalagay ko na manager will be Pauline Cortez. For the vendor, I'll leave it as blank first, pero yung importante dito is ilalagay natin yung payment method as manual payment under petty cash. So there you go. Once everything looks good, I can go ahead and submit that already. I-save ko muna siya and submit. Alright? So, once we submit that, dun naman sa side ni accounting head or dun sa light violet natin na persona, may makikita tayo na task that we have to finish for today. So for this one, makikita ko na meron tayong one notification dito sa tinatawag natin na activity button and meron tayong expense task. Or I can also go here sa expense application natin and see lahat ng expenses ng ating mga empleyado. So, yung makikita natin dito yung latest is from the employee, Catriona Cruz, which was our previous persona. Yung description niya, which was yung sales meeting with customer. And then, kung ano yung activity that I have to finish with this expense as our accounting head. So, for today, I have to approve or send approval dito kay Catriona Cruz and she's asking for total of 1,000 pesos. So, I'll go ahead and give that approval to her. And I can write any note here that I have to let Catriona know. So, for this one, lalagay ko na lang approved. And I'll press done. So, makikita natin na from submitted, magiging approved na siya. And dito naman sa side ni Catriona, from submitted, approved na siya. So, dito yung feedback na makikita natin from our accounting head sa tinatawag natin na chatterbox with Odoo. Now, at this point, si Catriona Cruz, our sales department and sales employee, she's already out with her customer at nagamit na niya yung cash, no? So, binigay na ni accounting head or ni Pauline Cortez yung cash sa kanya outside of the demo at nagamit na niya with her customer. So, from there, from yung sales meeting niya, meron na siyang resibo na kailangan niya i-attach dito sa expense application natin. So, yung benefit nun, again, is hindi na natin mawawala yung mga resibo natin and meron tayong e-copy of our receipt. So, I'll go ahead and attach yung receipt and I'll put yung sample receipt natin. Right? Again, I'll just go ahead and attach yung receipt natin. Okay? I think meron lang tayong onting lag, but again, pwede natin i-attach yung receipt natin para meron tayong e-copy and hindi na nawawala yung copy natin for receipts. Now, it's time for accounting to reconcile yung mga expenses niya at saka yung expenses ng mga employees niya dun sa petty cash journal natin. Now, let's say it's the end of the month and they need to reconcile na lahat ng mga expenses that we put under the petty cash journal. First that I will do is pupunta tayo dito sa expense application and then we'll go ahead and approve it and put yung journal entries natin. So, importante na ipopost natin yung journal entries kasi at the end, we will be reconciling this in the accounting application. So, from the accounting application, nakita natin na from 200 payments, naging 1,200 na yung payments that we see here. And that's because we added yung 1,000 na in-approve from yung manager's perspective, pati na rin ni Catriona Cruz of yung meeting niya with the customer. So when we go sa petty cash, yung gusto natin gawin is ina-negative natin yung petty cash journal dun sa nagamit na cash. So how I'll do that is I'll press yung new and then lalagay natin yung pangalan ng expense na ginawa ni Catriona Cruz kanina. So again, yung expense nga is sales meeting with customer. Right? Sales meeting with customer. And then sa partner, I can just go ahead and put kung sino yung employee na yon. So again, it was Catriona Cruz. And then lalagay natin is negative kasi binabawasan natin yung petty cash natin and then negative 1,000. After that, I'll go ahead and add and close. And then, from here, you can already automatically reconcile. So, reconcile natin yung negative 100 and may nakikita tayo na journal entry na Catriona Cruz sales meeting with customer. And when I go ahead and select that, automatic na na-reconcile ni Odoo yung journal na yon. Alright? And so far, nakikita natin na yung payments na negative na rin ng 1,000 kasi reconciled siya. So for today, yung reconcile na lang natin is yung 200. Okay? So for now, i-recap lang natin kung ano yung na-discuss natin for today's session. First one is nagkaroon tayo ng dalawang personas, yung employee na nag-request ng petty cash, pati na rin yung head of accounting or yung accounting side natin na usually nag-approve and reconcile ng ating mga expenses. Second one is nag-request si employee for petty cash use and nag-add na rin tayo ng approval levels from our head of accounting. Third one, meron na tayong digital copy or e-copy ng mga resibo natin na ginamit ng mga empleyado. Fourth one is ni-reconcile natin yung accurate amount of petty cash transactions dun sa petty cash journal natin. And lastly, meron tayong overview of accurate and real-time petty cash needs natin. So for now, I'm going to be opening our chat for any questions that you may have during this petty cash workflow. Right? So let's just wait for our chats to come in. All right. Okay, so yung first question that I see here is Petty Cash new to Odoo 19? To Odoo 19. So, Odoo 19 naman for context sa mga newcomers natin or yung mga nag-sign up out of curiosity, it's our latest version here with Odoo. So, it was released just last September, I believe. So, for petty cash dito sa Odoo 19, we were actually able to have petty cash din sa mga gumagamit ng Odoo 18 users din. So, no, meron na rin kaming Odoo 19 and 18 and actually previous versions of Odoo for petty cash. Alright, yung second natin is why not click on approve button instead of commenting approve before disbursing the petty cash. And then why pala approval button is only used on reconciliation period. So let's go dito sa first. Why not click yung approve button instead of commenting approved? So kanina dun sa demo natin, you can put any comment naman that you would want to let Catriona know. So nilagay ko lang yung approved comment just to show that you can have any text there. So if wala naman kayong comment, you can just go ahead and press approved. And then for the second question, why pala approve button is only used on the reconciliation period? So yung approval button, hindi naman siya ginagamit lang sa reconciliation period. So ginagamit siya pag approve na ni accounting head yung specific expense niya. And before natin ibigay physically yung petty cash natin kay employee. Next question. How many levels of approvals can I have? And can I add it depending on the amount of petty cash? So example, 1,000, one level, and then 2,000 for two levels. So for this one, you can actually add how many levels of approvals that you have with your company. So for this demo kasi, we only put our accounting head as an approver. Pero depende to sa workflow ng company nyo. If meron kayong 2, 3, or 4 approvers for your petty cash, we can also add that in Odoo. Next one is how can I explore further aside from petty cash? So again, if you have any questions outside of petty cash, so I think napakita naman natin yung ibang accounting journals na maybe you were interested in, like yung sales or purchasing journal natin and module, you can go ahead and email me directly here sa pcor@odoo.com or you can set an appointment via this QR code. Alright, so let's wait for more questions to come in. Okay, meron tayong question here asking if the amount of receipt is included yung VAT and then how to post. So a while ago, meron tayong included taxes doon na option for yung expenses. So this will be for recording ng employees natin. So if tinik natin yon, so for yung demo kasi kanina, hindi natin yung tinik, you can add yung VAT amount doon. Next one is, can we use the petty cash process to have a journal for each employee so that the balance for each employee can be tracked accurately? Or is there a better way of doing this? So for this one, there are more efficient ways of doing this, and I think it's better no na ipakita natin more personally depending kasi dun sa process ng company nyo. So again, you can book a demo or email me so that we can show you how to do it most efficiently para dito sa balance for each employee. Another question here is, can we use the approval app too as a replacement for the voucher and then generate the entry later instead of the flow demoed? So yes, we can use yung approval applications. I think this is coming from an Odoo user. So again, it depends dun sa workflow ng company nyo of what you prefer. Pero ito yung usual natin na process for yung petty cash. But again, yes, we can use yung application natin na approvals to account for yung petty cash voucher. Another question, what if the items to purchase are inventorial but needed for emergency purchase? Is there a way that the product goes directly to the inventory? So, if ginamit nyo yung petty cash to use for a purchase, we will do that naman under yung purchasing application natin instead of yung expenses. So, for example, if meron kayong, let's say, for construction, gawin na lang natin mga pako or mga screws na kailangan natin urgently, pwede natin siya i-purchase through yung purchasing application and then lalagay na lang natin as mode of payment yung petty cash natin. Okay? I'll wait for other questions here. Meron tayong isang question dito. You have an advanced feature called analytic accounting. Is this usable here so that we can tag to specific cost centers? So yes, for analytic accounting, for example na lang, for example, you're under construction and then you have multiple projects that you're currently working on. You can use yung analytical accounting application natin to tag kung saan malalagay or saan babangga yung specific cost natin under that petty cash use. Alright, I'll be waiting for other questions here. Meron kayong other questions under our petty cash workflow? Okay. Any more questions here? We'll wait here sa chat. Okay, I think our last question was our last one. If ever again you have further questions or mas, let's say, complex yung workflow nyo dito, you can go ahead again and email me here or book a personalized demo with us. If meron naman kayong other modules that you're interested in exploring with Odoo, like sales, yung purchasing natin, like what you guys mentioned, yung inventory and purchase, you can also go ahead and scan the QR code here. So, let's wrap up our webinar today. Again, thank you very much for listening and good afternoon. Have a great day, everyone.